Hi, welcome. So here at Blueprint Studios, we like to build things, universes, our own self-character, video game concepts, and etc. Well, today we're going to be delving into a new episode of Fix It or Frame It, the series where I take films and fix it by giving suggestions on how to make it better, or frame it by telling you why it's great. In today's video, we will be discussing John Carpenter's Halloween from 1978. What started out as a horror film titled The Babysitter Murders, Irwin Yablon suggested to not only have the story take place on Halloween night, but to also call the film Halloween, as no film to that point had used the word in the title. John Carpenter and Deborah Hill set out to make a horror film with a shoestring budget provided by Yablons and the grandfather of Halloween, Mustafa Akkad. Now, there is a lot of reasons this film ended up becoming arguably the best horror film of all time. From the iconic score composed by Carpenter himself.
My father taught me 5/4 time. Bop, 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 bop. I thought it would be perfect for the movie.
All the way to the iconic killer Michael Myers, otherwise known as The Shape. Though it wasn't the first, this is the film that started the slasher subgenre. Let's go over why it's great.
I can't ever be the backstreet boy you want me to. I just can't measure up, no, not in sync with the fashion. I ain't got the passion, never gonna be what you want.
The movie starts in a POV shot in 1963, where we follow Michael Myers looking through a window as his sister Judith and her boyfriend are making out. They head upstairs to do the dirty. And that's when Michael enters the house from the back. However, before Michael can really go anywhere, they finish. Like, record! What was that, 3 seconds for you to do anything? I mean, he's in the middle of putting on his shirt coming down the stairs. Now, it's really funny to think about it, but Judith's boyfriend, played by David Kyle Foster, left acting to pursue the ministry, where he wrote books on staying away from premarital sex. Weird. Michael then heads upstairs, puts on a mask, and kills his sister. He then retreats, running into his parents, where even though he's holding a bloody knife, his mother looks like she couldn't care less to be there. It is a beautiful shot where the way Michael is holding the knife, it keeps gleaming from the light. I mean, the cinematography was just fantastic this whole entire film. Jump cutting to 1978, we get introduced to Dr. Loomis, played by the late great Donald Pleasence. We really get to understand the character by the way he acts. Like when Marion asks the dumb question,
"Since when did they let them wander around?"
Loomis is like, "Just go on, go." Because yeah, in no way would a prison let the inmates wander around outside, so why answer that dumb question? As Loomis gets out of the car to call the inside of the sanitarium, Michael climbs up on the official's car that Marion is in. It then starts causing chaos, leading Marion to getting out of the car. That's when Michael goes GTA on her and steals the car. It always makes me laugh how Loomis begins to chase after the car, then is like, "Oh, crap," turning around to check on Marion. Though he says it just once in the car, I love how Loomis refers to Michael as it. We switch over to Haddonfield, Illinois, where not only is it Halloween, but here we get introduced to Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. This was her first ever film role, and it's crazy to think about how she was an unknown here. But talk about perfect casting, she brought a level of innocence and capability to the character. One thing you can feel is how nervous she was. She would get a call from John Carpenter and be like, "I'm fired, this is it." Next thing to note, when the film came out, Halloween 2 hadn't crossed John Carpenter's mind, so Michael and Laurie being siblings wasn't a thing yet. That brought a lot of intrigue because why did Michael target Laurie in this film? Personally, I believe 2 things. Number 1, fate. It was just fate. Number 2, Michael literally woke up and said, "First person I see, I'm gonna plump and kill him. First person I see, I'm gonna plump and kill him." And then Laurie showed up at the door and Michael was like, wow, that was fast. At this point, we get the iconic scene where Laurie is in class learning about fate as she's seeing her fate through the window across the street. One of my favorite running tropes in this film is the many times that Michael is there but nobody looks. Like, Loomis, the shape you want is right behind you. Or Tommy, the boogeyman is right beside you. You can't forget to mention the amazing scene where Loomis is talking with Dr. Wynn when he says about,
well, he was your patient, Doctor. If precautions weren't strong enough, you should have told somebody.
I told everybody!
Sam Haddonfield is 150 miles away from here. Now, for God's sakes, he can't drive a car.
He was doing very well last night. Maybe someone around here gave him lessons.
We then get Loomis with the gravekeeper when he says about, why do kids do it? Like, how often do they do this? Like, who steals a headstone? Then we get to the car scene where Laurie smokes pot, and you get the amazing moment when Annie says,
My dad! Get rid of this!
Loomis and Brackett then go to the Myers house, where Loomis says the line, he got hungry. Brackett responds, Domino's? Papa John's. A man wouldn't eat that. This isn't a man. No, but in all seriousness, like, has Michael eaten dogs before? I mean, you just automatically assume it's him. Next thing to note, now comes Annie's death scene, where something so clever takes place. When Annie realizes she forgot her keys, but once she retrieves her keys, the car is unlocked. How it didn't even cross her mind that the car was locked a minute ago. You really feel so much tension, where Michael has stalked so much and has to release that tension. When he shows up in the back seat and starts choking her, it's so intense. Then Michael finally finishes the job, with Annie slowly falling on the horn. Yet Laurie, Tommy, and Lindsay don't hear her because they're watching The Thing. What volume is that TV on? Now we get the funny and iconic moment where Loomis pranks Lonnie and those other kids, and then looks so proud of himself for messing with them. Then Linda and Bob arrive at the Wallaces, and we get the scene, where Bob makes a remark that would make this movie never get made today. But even Linda goes along with what he says. Now, I can look past it because he's being sarcastic, but it's still really weird, and yeah, let's just move on. Bob and Linda go inside the Wallace house to bang. When they finish really quickly, Linda tells Bob to go get her a beer. He goes downstairs and runs into Michael, when the shape pins him against the wall, lifting him up and stabbing him to the wall. And that's when Michael starts doing the iconic head tilt. The shape then heads back upstairs, puts on a sheet, and wears Bob's awesome glasses. But as Michael just watches Linda, she gets totally frustrated that he isn't responding, and goes to call Laurie. But when Laurie answers the phone, Michael grabs the phone cord and strangles Linda to death. I love how kinky PJ Souls is though, where apparently she asked Nick Castle to really bring it, really choke her.
And I said to him, listen, the cameras are going to be tight on us. Bring that choke, man. Tighten it up. Bring it in. Oh, God, did he bring it? Oh.
But we then get the iconic scene where Michael picks up the phone and is like, "Hi, do you have Medicare Parts A or B?" Laurie decides to leave the kids and go across the street to get Annie. When she starts walking through the house, she comes across the upstairs bedroom, where Annie's dead body is laying on the bed underneath Judith's headstone. Laurie uncovers all three dead bodies. When she leaves the room crying, we get probably the best moment of the movie, where the light slowly starts to hit Michael's mask right behind Laurie. Now we get the chase scene. I always love the inclusion of Laurie going to that person's door asking for help, but they refuse because they think it's a prank. Stuff like that is just so clever. Laurie goes back to the Doyle house where the shape gets in. Laurie and Michael begin to have the battle, where Michael misses a clear shot leading to Laurie stabbing him with a knitting needle. Michael drops to the floor dead. Or is he? Laurie drops the knife. Now, here's the thing. People get annoyed at how much she drops the knife. And I'll agree. It is stupid. However, I feel like we come in with the knowledge of horror movies today. So of course it's dumb. However, in 1978, you never saw a killer come back. So I can look past it. I mean, she only does that twice. The second time comes when Laurie goes to console Tommy and Lindsay. The shape appears behind her. That's when Laurie protects the kids, leading to her hiding in a closet. Well, Michael gave her time to hide as if they were playing hide and seek. Michael goes straight to the closet as if he had on barbecue and chili and tries opening it before breaking through the door. Laurie uses her great Girl Scout skills, alluded to earlier. She grabs a hanger and uses it to stab out Michael's eye. He drops the knife in pain. That's when she picks up the knife and stabs him in the abdomen. He drops dead. Or is he? Laurie then again drops the knife. Now, I do want to note, earlier we saw Loomis standing in front of the Myers house. When he turned around, he noticed the official's car that Michael GTA'd. Loomis then begins to walk up the street in search of the shape. Back to Laurie. After dropping the knife, she consoles Tommy and Lindsay, telling them to go down the street to the Mackenzie's house and tell them to call the police. This is where we get the iconic line,
Go do as I say.
Though Laurie told them what to do calmly, Tommy and Lindsay run out of the house frantically screaming. However, they do that just as Loomis is right across the street. That's when Loomis is like,
Michael?
Returning back to Laurie, distraught over what happened, she's sitting in her thoughts. That's when another beautiful visual happens, when Michael behind her does a dead man sit-up. You see Michael rise up behind Laurie as he stalkingly follows her. That's when he strikes, grabbing her by the throat, starting to strangle her. Laurie, not knowing what to do, messes with his mask. That's when Michael lets go to fix it. Loomis then arrives upstairs and shoots Michael. From the shot, Michael moved back, breathing heavily, like, "Ouch, Dad, why?" Loomis then shoots 6 more shots into him that sends Michael falling over the railing of a balcony, where he lays dead. Or is he? Laurie asks Loomis,
What's the boogeyman?
to which Loomis replied,
As a matter of fact, it was.
like, what is he supposed to say? No, it was a man wearing a mask. Are you high? Loomis looks over the balcony to see Michael is gone, and this is where the greatness of Donald Pleasance comes in, because he asked John Carpenter, how do you want me to play this? Like shock, or I knew this would happen? To which John said, can you do both? Cue the amazing theme song as we hear Michael breathing over shots of places he has been, in a way of saying the shape could be anywhere. Phenomenal. I would give this film an in-awe rating. It's amazing, like magic in a bottle, where the score was literal perfection. It's so simple, just a bongo beat, but it works so well. The suspense was out of this world. Overall, Michael's kill count is at 5, with Bob's death being the best in this film. And that's why John Carpenter's Halloween is a perfect film and deserves to be framed. But that takes care of this. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please go leave a like and subscribe to the channel because it would really help me out a lot. And with that, this is what I would do. What about you?